And now, from the studios in Wall Township, New Jersey, this is Moron Sports Radio.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Moron Sports Radio. Ron McNair, Max Rice, Jacob Vernick, Mike Lopes, and Tyler Paley with you today. Week 13 in the NFL just completed yesterday with Monday Night Football. Again, the Jets and the Patriots, not the results that we expected. We're going to move on to that game first. 45-3, I think, yeah, it was. And then the Jets just got completely demolished on all ends. Brady was having a clinic, and we're going to start it off with Max. What do you think?
It just shows it shows both that the Patriots are an elite AFC team and the Jets are not the team we thought they were at all. Because they won just barely to the Browns, the Lions, and I think it was the Texans. I can't even remember the other team. Was it the Texans?
It was no.
Yeah, I feel like me, I can't remember. But it shows that they're not elite and they can just barely beat these average, a little less than average teams.
I'm going to disagree with that. I think it proved more that the Patriots were a lot better than it did than the Jets were a bad team. I know I'm not going to say they're bad. I'm going to still say they're a very good team. Maybe not elite
That's what I was saying.
What the Patriots are, but they're still a very good AFC team. If you're 9-3, no matter who you played, you're still having a pretty good year. And I just think that the Patriots proved that they're one of the best teams, if not the best, in the NFL right now.
What I find it amazing is how the Patriots can be such a good team, 10-2, with the worst defense in the league.
And their
I just find it
receivers,
ridiculous.
all they have, Branch.
They're ridiculous. Branch had a great
Woodhead,
game.
who would have thought that? Like week one, you say Woodhead is better than Wes
All right,
Welker.
you throw Brady. You throw Brady into any receiving core, they'll do fine.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as he can catch the ball,
he can work with
as
anything.
long as they have somewhat good hands. I mean, Brady throws it right in the chest.
And I mean, the Patriots just demolished, and I think now there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to win the AFC East.
Yeah. All right. Next game, we're going to go to Sunday Night Football. It was the Ravens and the Steelers. The Steelers win a tough one, 13-10. Big Ben had a broken foot and a broken nose throughout the game. He really roughed it out, and he got the win for the Steelers. What do you think, Jacob?
I mean, the Steelers scored 10 points in the fourth quarter to come back and win this game 13-10 after being down 10-3 in the fourth. And I said last week that whoever had a better week at quarterback was going to win the game. And Flacco did pass for more yards, but I think Big Ben had a better completion percentage, and I think he may have had even a better game against Baltimore because Mendenhall didn't do much, and Ray Rice wasn't a factor at all in this game. Yeah. And the Steelers really shut down Joe Flacco and this entire Ravens team, and that's the reason for winning this game.
All right, say what you want about Big Ben. He might not be the best guy. He might have like a little bit of a dark past, a little bit, as you could say. But, I mean, he's a great quarterback. He's a gutsy guy. He goes out there every Sunday knowing he wants to play, and he gets it done. And he's been proving that with a couple Super Bowls in his hand, too.
Yeah, exactly. I want to say something about on that drive right after this Palomalo fumble. I think it was actually first and goal. And Terrell Suggs is trying to strip the ball. He's trying to strip the ball from Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know if you saw this, but I did. At least I stayed up to see it. It was an amazing play of determination and perseverance, where Terrell Suggs was just demolishing Ben Roethlisberger, trying to strip the ball from trying to sack him, trying to tackle him, whatever, like just trying to demolish him. And Ben Roethlisberger stays up, pushes Terrell Suggs of all players off of him, and then is able to shovel pass the ball out of bounds for an incomplete pass. I know it's just an incomplete pass, and that's like that's really bad. That's not particularly good, but 20-yard sack, almost like 10-yard sack, 15-yard sack, but he fights Terrell Suggs and gets the incomplete pass, which is just amazing.
All right, we're going to go to the picks for that game. Me, Jacob, and Tyler all had the Ravens in that game. We all thought the Ravens would win. And Lopes and Max had the Steelers. Lopes and Max obviously 1-0 on that. But if we go to the Jets and Patriots game, Jacob had the Jets, poor Jacob, and the rest of us had the Patriots. So,
of course.
So far, it is Max and Lopes in the lead for the picks with 2-0. We'll go to the next game. It's Washington and the Giants. The Giants win 31-7, and they just look great on defense, great on offense. Bradshaw and Jacobs both had great games. Jacob, what do you think?
I think this is it's not a surprise. The Giants' defense was really there. They held the Redskins, who aren't a terrible offense, but aren't a great offense, to only 7 points. And the Giants, they came back off of a not-so-good win against Jacksonville last week, although Jacksonville is somehow in first place right now.
Yeah, over the Colts.
Over the Colts and Texans and Tennessee.
6 Colts.
And it just surprises, it's shocking. The Giants are such a good team now. They really bounced back from how bad they had been doing, and they really showed that they can run the ball. Jacobs and Bradshaw both had almost 100. Well, Jacobs had 100 yards, and Bradshaw almost had 100 yards.
Yeah, what was really surprising about it, though, if you actually look at the stats besides the yards, Jacob has like 10 rushes, maybe 9, or like 12, 100, and then 100 over 100 yards. Bradshaw had like 24 rushes, 25 rushes, and less than 100 yards. I don't know why Kevin Gobride was not putting in Jacobs that entire game because he was demolishing.
I just think if you see
Washington
Jacobs
Redskins.
too much, you can figure out easily how to stop him. I just think that the combination of those both is a good way for the Giants to get the ball moving on the ground.
It shows the Giants aren't an elite team in the NFC, but a good team because they could beat the. I mean, the Redskins aren't a good team, so they beat them. Anyone would, but they beat them by that much, and it was that big of a statement with that great offensive game. That it just shows that they're a good team in the NFC wild card, definitely.
Yeah, all of us had the Giants in that game. Surprise, not really a surprise. We're going to go to the next game, Atlanta and the Bucks. The Bucks won 28-24. The Falcons won 28-24. I'm sorry.
The Bucks were leading in the fourth quarter.
The Bucks were leading in the fourth quarter 24-21. And the Bucks just looked like a good team throughout the game. Jake, I'm going to throw it out to you.
Tampa Bay, they proved that they're not a fluke. That they almost beat one of the best teams in the NFL right now in the Atlanta Falcons. And Tampa Bay is still just a really good team. And they, just because their division is so tough, except for the Panthers, they might not even make the playoffs, which sucks for them.
Yeah, it's sad.
East,
Definitely
the AL
sad.
East for football.
Yeah, it is the AL East of football this year. That's
And
exactly true.
if anybody has doubts about the Falcons winning the division, just you're wrong because because they have in the next month they're playing the Panthers. They're like what 1-11.
1-11
Panthers.
Yeah.
And they're playing them twice in 3 weeks, and I don't know.
Wow.
The Falcons are going to demolish the Panthers, and they're going to win both games, and that means at least 11-5 year, and that's going to make the wild card or division.
This game really affects the playoff picture in the NFC. I think now that the Bucks showed that they can hold their own with the good teams, and I think if they won this game, they might have been a shoo-in for the wild card, but they lose now. I think it's obviously, like Jacob said, it's tough luck because it's a great division.
It's up in the air, but I think it's going to be between them and the Giants for that final spot.
I think it's the Giants and the Saints for that final spot.
The Giants, Saints.
Saints.
The Bucks were a great surprise this year, though.
Great surprise, and I think there's a lot for them.
I mean, I think the Saints and the Bucks the Giants and the Bucks are going to be fighting for that last spot. I think the Giants are going to be in. I think the Giants are going to be in. I just think the Saints and Bucks will be fighting for that last spot.
Yeah, that could happen. The Bucks are a good team.
We all had the Falcons for that.
Yeah, that was a shot.
So the last game we're going to go to is the Philly and Houston game. Philly won big. I forgot the score. What was it?
It was 34-24.
All right, yeah. And Michael Vick just had a great game. He was going straight through the passing defense of Houston, one of the worst passing defenses in the league.
If you can even call it a passing defense.
Yeah, right. And they wide open receivers downfield, 20 yards plus, a lot. It happened a lot.
That's how Vick plays.
Yeah, just a great game for Vick.
Yeah, the Eagles were still without Asante Samuel, which I think is probably the main reason they only
it was so close.
Why it was so close and why they let him score 24 points. Because Andre Johnson had 149 receiving yards, and just with that great game, if you put Samuel on him, that might be like 70 receiving yards or maybe even less. And then they don't get as good field position, and they don't get as good, and they don't score as many points. And I think, but with Samuel coming back next week because they have 10 days in between their two games, I think the Eagles should have no problem with that.
That's agreeable. Yeah, I think Samuel would have been a big factor in this game had he been there. I mean, you saw him; he was a big factor against Eli Manning and the Giants. He really shut down that his side. I mean, he had a great game. Andre Johnson just wasn't contained properly.
He tore up the Eagles' defense.
Yeah, but still not. They were able to contain him somewhat. Obviously, he had no touchdowns, and the Eagles won the game.
He still had over almost 150 receiving yards, which is a good day for any run.
Yeah, the point. Yeah, I was just making the point that he didn't have a touchdown.
We can go on to the next game. All of us had Philly for that game, right?
All of us had Philly.
And we go to the next and last game. It was the Dallas and Indianapolis game. Indianapolis lost. It was in
OT. It was
in OT, 38-35. Manning threw 4 picks. He had a terrible game twice in a row.
Manning threw 4 picks, and that's just not who he is anymore. I mean, he isn't that elite 49 touchdown quarterback anymore. I know he's not too good anymore.
Yeah, when you're Peyton Manning, you can't do that. You can't give up 4 picks. That's not a Peyton Manning game. That's not a Peyton Manning quarterback.
Nope, definitely.
Yeah, all right. So in the MLB, there's a lot of free agency going on.
Definitely, a lot of free agency. We're going to start with the biggest move, I think, and it was the stupidest move on the part of the Washington Nationals. 7 years, $126 million to Jason Worth, former Philly. 7 years. Jacob, I don't know what they're thinking. A long-term contract for a guy like him.
Here's a little stat for you. Jason Worth has hit over 30 home runs once. Jason Worth has never hit above 300, never stolen more than 20 bases, and has never hit 100 RBIs.
What's that set with the?
And he hits 150 with runners on base.
On base.
He is not a 17 million dollar a year player. He is more of a maybe 10, maybe even single digits.
Yeah, definitely.
You give franchise players that contract.
And this is gonna set a tone for the rest of the free agency. Carl Crawford is now gonna want maybe 18 compared to what maybe he wanted 14 before
this.
this.
Is all domino.
I think Carl Crawford definitely deserves more money.
Yeah, and now. And all the general managers are pissed at the Nationals for doing this because now all these other guys who they're trying to sign are going to want more money than they deserve.
Perfectly true. And we're going to go into the next signing. The Nationals let Adam Dunn go from them, and he was signed. Yeah, he was signed by the Chi Sox. 4 years, $46 million, and it was a big signing. I mean, a lot of power onto that team, and Paul Konerko. We don't know if he's going to be back yet, but I think
hopefully for the White Sox,
they need him.
I think the signing of Adam Dunn will influence Paul Konerko even more to come there.
Yeah, definitely.
I think just him. I think those two will be a combination of a great 2 power, great 3 and 4, maybe 4 and 5 hitters. And the White Sox now are a very good team. They could, you never know, they could beat out the Twins.
Yeah, they can make a run for the division.
I think the Central is going to be a great division with the Twins.
The Central's already a great division.
And the Twins are signing Victor, and now the White Sox signing Dunn.
Yeah, the Twins are never 100% sure to win the division. Sometimes they
got to do something they got to do something big this offseason.
Under 500
maybe moving the fences at Target Field.
Yeah, that could
that's gonna.
All right, the deal finally gets done between Jeter and the Yankees.
And Mariano.
3 years with an option for the 4th. I think it was $51 million. And I just didn't expect it to take this long. I thought it would be done quick, maybe like a week before.
And Jeter
before
took
the
less than he wanted, and the Yankees offered more than they wanted to, but just a little. But Jeter went down farther than anybody expected. I thought he was
going up in the 70s.
I thought he wouldn't take anything less than 3 years 60, and he took 3 years 51.
Yeah.
Did you say the 4th option here was at a less
fourth
price?
option? It's a player's decision.
Yeah,
like
but it's at a lower price.
No.
Yeah, it is. No, it's at a lower price. No, it's at a lower price.
All right, we can check that later.
I almost apologize. I saw it on ESPN. It's at a lower price the 4th year.
All right,
not like major.
Yeah, we can go to Rivera's signing now. He got signed for 2 years, $30 million. He was actually offered more money by the Red Sox for the same amount of years, but he wants to be a Yankee, and rightfully so. He's had a great career with the Yankees, one of the best closers of all time, the best closer of all time, if not.
This is more of a message to Jonathan Papelbon, I feel. Like, I don't know if they obviously not mean for the Red Sox to piss off Papelbon, but they did. Because if I'm Papelbon, I'm thinking, wow, they need this 44-year-old closer, Mariano Rivera, and I'm not good enough.
Like, I don't even think Papelbon's going to be the closer this year. I think Daniel Bard is going to be.
Yeah, Papelbon's had a terrible season. 3.90 ERA. Awful. All right, we can move on to our off-season segment. Kansas City Royals. What do they need this off-season to improve? And I think, you know what, they had a little bit of an improved season towards the beginning. Signs have started to fade away towards the end.
They need everything. Greinke didn't have the year he had 2 years ago.
Yeah. Last year.
Now
2
years.
Now 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what they kind of needed. They just need a lot more pitching. They're a contact hitting team, and they're one of the best contact hitting teams.
Yeah.
They just have no power and no pitching.
Yeah, they need to get a big thing out of that Greinke trade, because if I were them, I would trade Greinke, and then I would just get a really
more younger.
Yeah, better
All right, we're
power.
going to send it to Tyler to wrap it up.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for Moron Sports Radio today. It's December 7th of 2010. Fun fact of the day, last right-handed hitter to hit a home run off Mariano Rivera in the playoffs was Jay Payton of the Mets in 2000 in the World Series. With that, I am Tyler with Mike in the control room, Ronick, Max, and Jacob in the studio. We will see you on Friday for our new picks for Week 12. 14. I am wrong. 14. Everybody have a great rest of the day.